the energy still of full moon. We're in the Leo full moon. Any Leos in the room? No Leos. Yeah.
Leos? Yes.
Oh, Leo, yes, of course. Look at the mane.
Yeah.
Of course you're Leo. Oh, your full moon. I love it. So even if, everybody actually does have a Leo aspect within their chart. And this evening, before we go into the sound healing, I like to do a little bit of teaching about the energies of what's around now and just channel whatever comes through for all of you in the room this evening. So I never really know what that is myself. I just show up here with the intention of divine love and activating and sharing with you whatever shifts and openings and awakenings that are here for you consciously. So we're in an incredible moment of time right now on the planet with change. And with these changes, of course, that's bringing with that a lot of fear of the unknown and how things are going to look in your life now with these new ways of living. And this particular full moon is bringing, and actually this energy that we're going into now, really into March. There's an alignment that's happened with Mars and Venus that we're in now, where they're pretty much wanting to be on their own path. So the masculine aspect of the self, connecting and focusing on what it is that they're wanting to do in their life. And what you're wanting to do in your life, that masculine aspect, how do you want to express that part of yourself? And then there's the feminine aspect that's wanting to do things her way as well. Wanting to connect a little bit deeper. Spend a little bit more time with herself. So if you think about that in relation to you internally, with the masculine aspect of yourself and the feminine aspect of yourself, it can bring up some conflict. You might have two parts of you, one part's saying this and wanting to do this, and another part doing this. Or it may even be showing up in your relationships. In your feminine relationships, in your masculine relationships, your personal relationships. And it's because there's a really beautiful alignment that's happening within you. And sometimes it doesn't feel like you're aligning, does it, when you're in conflict with those two parts? Feels a little bit more like you're being pushed and pulled. You're wanting to do one thing and there's another part of you saying something else, and there's a lot of confusion there. But if you can just accept at this moment in time that this is just the cycle that we're in, and this is a really important part of the cycle of your alignment coming back to freedom in the heart. We can't have that freedom unless we have this union that takes place inside of us. And at the moment, that union's not wanting to take place. And it may not be wanting to take place in your external relationships. Because at the moment, it's about your relationship with your divine self. It's about your purpose. It's about being there for the part of you that's wanting to come back and live again on the planet now. Your passions, your desires. your heart. And in life, we've had this conditioned way of the way we operate within our male-female relationships, and also the male-female relationship within ourselves. And there hasn't been a lot of connection there unless you've been purposely showing up for that every day. And how that feels for you. And the energy of the planets and where we are today is really supporting you. It's supporting you to have a deeper connection with your inner self, with your divine self, and actually allow perhaps even some new ideas and new creative things to actually flow forward and be expressed now. Like you might be doing what you love, but there might be another expression that's coming with that. You're expanding into more of a fullness and more of a multi-dimensional part of that passion. Is there something that's been really deep inside of you that you've been thinking about and kind of pondering for a long time? A new way, a new expression of yourself, a new idea, maybe an idea you've been sitting on for 10 years, thinking about, because we do, don't we? It's always there. There's a space that's been provided in your life for that to come forward now, whatever that may be. It might be a different type of relationship with your children. It might be a different expression in your career. It might be a different expression in your relationships. But at the moment, the feminine aspect of you is asking you to be. To be. And the masculine part of you is wanting to go. Because with the new energy, the ideas and everything comes in like lightning and you're wanting to go. And I catch myself with that. I want to do everything all together, you know? And I'm reminded, my dear friends, Heather, you always try and fit too much in. And they're right. Because it's like, I want to do it all. But there's no balance in that, really. I mean, there is, because I organised time afterwards, but it's like, there has to be that balance. There has to be the downtime, the recuperating time, the inward time, and then that outward expression. So I don't know whether you all noticed a shift or a download on the weekend, but the energy was pretty intense. It was pretty amazing. And that would come through and highlight some things. So there's going to be a little bit more clarity. Have you found that you've had a little bit more clarity around things? It's like almost like, oh wow, it might have been there all this time and now you're seeing it? You know, like your aha moments. It's like, oh my goodness, it's like, that's been there the whole time, but I just haven't been able to see it. I just haven't been clear enough to see it. But this energy that we're in now is bringing a lot of clarity. It helps, doesn't it, clarity?
Bring on the clarity.
If you're not feeling the clarity, ask to see more. Ask for that clarity. When you're actually coming back in that alignment and in that connection with yourself, ask what it is you need. You're supported. You have so much love and support around you. And your guides and your angels and your higher self and your soul, they're all working behind the scenes for you. They're putting everything into place for you. And all you need to do is line up. Realign with your heart, with your passions, and with your truth. And if you notice that truth changes, it's like as you grow, like you see things and then there's a different layer to that unfolding. It's getting closer and closer to the truth. There's many different types of truth that we have depending on whatever our filter system is. But there is a one truth that you can align to in your heart, that intelligence in your heart, but you can only do it if you're still, if you take that time to connect with your heart. You can connect with loved ones anywhere. Bringing that awareness deep into the heart and knowing that this spiritual highway here, this golden grid, this intelligent being within your heart is your connection to everyone and everything. I've decided to call my heart like the spiritual, spiritual byways. Like I just see it like lots of golden roads. It's exciting in there. And we connect in there. You have that golden grid inside of your heart and you go in there and that's where we meet. That's where you meet all of your loved ones on these golden roads. Our connections in life and the love that we share with loved ones. There's different types of love, isn't there? There's a love between a mother and a daughter, a father and a son, father and a daughter, your children, your friends. Like you know your mother's love. You know your father's love. You know your children's love. And they know yours. And that's where you meet. She's so proud of you. Loves you so much. Be with her from time to time. Let yourself be held. She wants to share the journey with you more consciously here. For all your loved ones that have passed are here. That's where you meet. That's where you feel them. That's where the understanding of love being eternal is. There is no death. There is just the change of form. And when we miss our loved ones, we can go back here. And there you find the joy of your union in love. So with that, I'm going to invite you to be with your hearts this evening. And I'm going to take you on a journey onto these golden roads and see where that takes you. You can meet other parts of you that are existing in other dimensions. You can connect with giftings. You can connect with loved ones here. Just with that conscious thought. And allow that love to heal you. Our hearts are healing. And it's through this remembering of this connection that you have to one, to each other, that we free our hearts. That feeling of loss just dissipates for a moment. And it may come back up again. And then we remember and we connect in that part of us. And then we're allowed to let go again. We free our hearts a little more. And we're opening to greater love and greater freedom within ourselves now. In May, this coming May, on the 8th of May to the 13th of May, I'm going to be taking a special group to Uluru, to the spiritual heart of the world. The solar plexus chakra of the world, and Uluru is the physical representation of that. And as many of you are probably aware, we've just had that reconnection again of that umbilical cord and the repair of the solar plexus chakra for the world. And what that means for you is that your sense of self-love, your spiritual self, your spiritual center can now live more in your body. You can actually bring the fullness of your soul, the multidimensional part of you, in to live your life, if you choose. But to do that, we need to love ourselves more. Really, truly love ourselves. Which means listening to our truth, resting when we need to rest, dancing when we need to dance, and following your path, even though it may not be your loved one's choice that you do that. So in these 5 nights, we have exclusive tours returning to the spiritual heart. In Sacred Union, the Songline Tour, we'll be visiting Uluru, the masculine and feminine solar plexus, the place of the spiritual heart of ourselves, and embodying that more through the channel teachings from the grandmothers and the indigenous there, the ancient ones. We'll be visiting Kalajuka, masculine, and Attila, the feminine, along those song lines. And there's a union that's happening with you. There is a purpose for you, and your purpose is to live your joy, to live in freedom, to find peace in your heart. And that happens through this love, this self-love. We have to love ourselves enough to bring those parts of us back in to balance again, into connection. So if anyone would like to know anything about that later on, please come and see me. I'm just taking 10 people, and we have filled already 5 spaces. So just let me know. I can give you some details.